David, Blade Banter. We're going to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. We're going to be looking at a Benchmade knife today, so thank you to Benchmade to provide it for review. Heading out after that, but this is going to be the Benchmade knife in the pocket to see how that looks. This is the Adira. So basically for the meaning on that and then looking it up, it seems like Hebrew for mighty, strong, or majestic. I think it kind of meets up to that. So this is one that I think kind of matches up to kind of the Griptilian lineup. If you have a Griptilian or if you like Griptilians, then this might be a kind of a evolution, I guess it would be. So that's going to be what it looks like. Any Benchmade clip now you can run on these things, so that's going to be the difference on it. But that's going to be how it looks like. So it is going to be a Grivery handle, and for Benchmade, this is probably the most impressive box that I've seen for their knives. So this is going to be how it comes. Most times they come in just a standard pull top. That's pretty much the standard across the board. But this is into their water line. So this is just, I think that's pretty impressive. So water collection. So it has a little bit of QR codes there. Name on the back side. Open that up. Take that sleeve off. Open that up. It has all these different things on it, but the Life Sharp, so kind of like an explanation of their warranty service, kind of introduction to the lineup. Has the Life Sharp information kind of right in there, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, really nice. I mean, this is kind of a felt, so inside and the top, so it's not bouncing around in the little baggie that they normally would include with it. So that's impressive right off the bat. So that's something that's kind of cool about it. Oop, gotta put the flyer back in there. But that's something that's really cool right off the bat. Oh, and there's a cleaning cloth. Look at that. There's a little cleaning cloth in there. What do you know? So definitely stepping it up as far as that regard. The knife itself is in Magnacut, so Magnacut's kind of the poster child of knives recently as far as that super steel or what people are looking for. Still not available to other countries to produce, other than going around what the company wants to do for that steel manufacturer. But it looks pretty cool. So there's some things I think it kind of goes back to some of the older knives, some that I even have. So this is going to be that knife here, and then I think it kind of has a feel of like the mini Griptilian, so about the same blade length. And then there's a Nakamura, which is probably a little bit closer to kind of the shape. So that blade shape kind of reminds me of that Nakamura, and then it's kind of a child between the two, because this is more the premium side, and then this initially you had that Grivery handle. This is on kind of the this is a silver 12 carbon fiber one that I picked up, but it's kind of the mix between the two. So the only thing that I don't like about this one, well, two things I don't like about it. I would eliminate this kind of the first bat, because in carrying it around a little bit, that kind of just popped out of my pocket, and it's kind of just like, I don't need it. So I'll probably take that off. And then just the inside of the handle, so I'm not too sure what they can do for that, but it's just a little bit on the sharper side for the molding as far as this goes. So I'd like to see that knocked down, but I mean, you could hit that down with just a little dowel rod and like some sandpaper, but it just, to get it out of the box and have it be a little bit smoother might be a good thing for that. But just really high vis stuff. It's supposed to be more still the stainless steel hardware, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty solid for the way it looks and the way it works. The detent on this one, let's double check that one. Handy dandy little Lyman pull gauge here. So we'll see what this is for a pull. So thumb stud. So fairly low on that, so not even a pound for detent. Yeah, so yeah, it's still a little bit, no, so about 11 to 13. I'm going kind of slow on that, but so not a pound. My preference on most thumb stud deployments is going to be about 2 pounds, but it still works for it, but it's still going to be, well, not too bad. so it doesn't swing out that easily. So that's something that's kind of nice about it. Everybody does it this way too for some reason, but that's going to be way easier to do. So it's probably a lot more force that's put onto that blade to get it to swing out that way. But it's a nice looking knife. The only thing with any of the kind of patterns, this does hold up a little bit in the pocket for this type of material or that pattern there. So it does add grip, and it is meant for more water use. So that's where that probably comes into play. But I think this one would do very well if it wasn't in the water series and it just was plain black. It would do very well. I mean, even in this orientation, I wouldn't mind carrying this as is. So it would just be one to just, I'll take that off because I don't use lanyards. Not my thing, but it's kind of interesting for this one as well as the price point. Normally I'd see the price point to be a little bit lower at retailers than Benchmade, but this one is actually one that actually is the same across the board. So if you went over to Benchmade, so they have, this is a mini one at $230, so that's going to be right there, $230. The full-size one or the large is going to be a little bit more. So that's going to be a $250, I believe, on that one. Let's search that. Yeah, so $250 for the large one, and then $230 for the smaller variant. And this one is blade length-wise. What are you blade length? So it's 3.8. So that's substantially bigger. So 3.8. For the large. And what is this one? I thought there was a 3 inch for this. 3.2, so not that much bigger. So yeah, it's going to be bigger than the mini Griptilian. I thought it was a 3 inch, no, a little bit about 3 inch, but it's 3.21 and 3.8. So, but price-wise, I mean, that's going to be the same across the board. So Blade HQ, $230, $250. Knife Center, $230, $250. Knives Plus, $230, $250. So that's going to be across the board. And normally I'd see Benchmade being kind of the highest MSRP. Then there'd be dealer price, which would be less than that. But this one's just the same. So whether you go to Benchmade directly on their website or if you go to a dealer, it's the same price across the board. But it's really a nice accent for this one. So I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I have this one, so yeah, I kind of like that style. So that Nakamura. So it's pretty much a Nakamura blade on a different handle. Or just a Nakamura. I don't know. It looks very similar. So that's where it might be just something that is inspired by or something that was kind of in the lineup, but it's very much a progression, I feel, of the Nakamura, I guess, more than the Griptilian. So it's kind of taking this and then having that Grivery injection molded handles put on it, and then the Magnacut blade. So all those things work out pretty well for how it works, how it looks. So even size-wise, I guess we're bringing a bug out too. So let's bring it a bug out. So bug out, let's put that over here. So bug out's a little bit bigger. So pretty much Nakamura is the smaller one. Bug out, then you're gonna have the Adira. So that's gonna be now what you have for that one. Size-wise. So a few differences there, but really quite nice. I like it. I did a little bit of cutting, so it's not one that's mine that I'm going to be resharpening and everything else. So, but it did well. Magnacut, I don't have too many Magnacut blades, so I wasn't really able to test it too much. But the edge out of the box was very nice. It cut very well. So Benchmade's doing a good job there. I'm not going to go into like the same side one and another, because with anything, I mean, if you're going to have this as your own knife, eventually you're going to put your own edge on it. So the factory edge in most cases isn't really the most important thing for the knife, but I think this is a good design for them. If it doesn't work necessarily in the water series, this would also be good in the regular series as well for the blue. but nice on washers too. So not a lot of break-in for it, but still nice on washers. I think it actually still works better than my bug out does, and I've had the bug out for a little bit longer. But overall, very solid. I would recommend it. If you like to pick it up for another Magnacut blade, I think the other ones are going to be probably like the Hogue Deca. I think is going to be a little bit better on pricing overall, but this is going to be one that whether you're fishing or whether you just want to have a knife to go into your collection and use for a Magnacut blade, I think this would be a solid one. And again, for that pocket clip, you can change it out to whatever one you want. So if you want a deep carry, if you want the non-deep carry, if you want an arrow clip, if you want an aftermarket clip, any of those Benchmade ones is going to be the same style for it, so you can do that. It does have the older spring, so they do have more of a flat spring. That was on the 710. Yeah, the 710. So they had the flat spring on that. This is as the standard spring for that more round one instead of that the leaf spring style. So just think of that. If you had bad luck with other access springs, I have not. But that might be something to think about. But it's really a nice one. I would recommend it if you like it. Let me know if there's any questions. I'll try to answer it best I can from memory. But a good thing, like it. A little less sharp there. Take that off. Then I'm good. So thank you very much. Now check it out. If you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll try and bring out some other things. I have the knife side on this side. Orion Knives is going to be more the projects, 3D printing, my own stuff, and then that's going to be how that separates. Thanks a lot for checking it out. Let me know if you have anything else.